All right, moving into lesson 11.9 with Algebra 1. We are multiplying binomials containing radicals. Do you remember what a binomial is? Remember, it's a two-term, so it's going to be like x plus 2. That's a binomial. And radicals are the square roots of things, so now we are multiplying binomials with radicals. Our essential question asks us just that. Can you multiply binomials containing radicals? So remember, we do have to FOIL. That is a number one issue with Algebra 1. Please make sure you take first terms, outer, inner, last. So I get the square root of 49. We'll deal with that in a minute. Outer terms, you cannot multiply something that is outside and inside. So notice this 5 goes on the outside, the root 7 goes on the inside. Inner terms, negative 5 root 7. And last terms is going to give us a 25. Whoops, I shouldn't put equals. So we get a minus 25. Hey, I'm in red. And to be blue. 25. All right, I know that the square root of 49 is 7. And I know that 7 and a negative 25 is negative 18. And I do have a positive 5 root 7 and a negative 5 root 7. What happens with a positive 5 root 7 and a negative 5 root 7? They do cancel out, so my only answer is negative 18. All right, moving on to example 2. Again, one thing that we forget in Algebra 1 is that this has to be FOILed. So I tell my students, let's just get rid of that square and show it 2 times. And now we can go ahead and FOIL. First terms, root 5 times root 5 is root 25. Outer terms, 11 and root 5 is 11 root 5. Inner terms, 11 and root 5 is another 11 root 5. And 11 times 11 is 121, because your mean math teacher made you memorize that. So I know that the square root of 25 is 5. 5 and 121 add up to be 126. And then 11 root 5 and 11 root 5 adds up to be 22 root 5. How are you doing with these? All right, let's look at one that, I'm going to move on so that way we get through all of our stuff. When I have to rationalize the denominator using a binomial in the denominator, so remember if I had to rationalize the denominator of like 1 over root 3, we would have to multiply, we can multiply anything 3 by 1, so root 3 over root 3 is what we choose. So we get root 3 over root 9, which is the square root of 3 over 3. So remember, the whole goal of rationalizing is getting rid of that radical in the denominator. So in order to deal with a binomial, we have 3 minus 2 root 3. We're just going to use the opposite sign. I need a pen. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to write it as 3 plus 2 root 3, because when I have a plus and a minus, I know that they cancel out. And that's our whole goal, is we want to cancel out the radical. So let's see what happens here. On the top, I'm just going to distribute this 6, which makes it very nice. I get 18 plus 12 root 3. On the bottom, let me show my math correctly here. 3 times 3 is 9. Outer terms are 6 root 3. Inner terms are negative 6 root 3. And the last term is negative 4 root 9. Well, let's deal with that bottom while we're here. 6 root 3 and negative 6 root 3 can cancel out. And this 9 is just 3. So this is really saying 4 times 3, which I know that whole thing is 12. I'll be patient and do that slowly. So I end up getting 18 plus 12 root 3. And on the bottom, I have 9 minus 12, which is a negative 3. Well, this brings us all the way back to the front of the book. Remember this Algebra 1 concept where we can pull out a 3 on the top, and we kind of said we could take this -3 into the 18 and -3 into the 12. Please make sure that you reduce this correctly. I do see this happen incorrectly a lot. So if you want to take time to pull out that 3 here, then you have 6 plus 4√3 all over -3. And then you could say, oh yeah, those reduced to be -1. So my final answer is -6 minus 4√3. I think it's almost easier to say 18 divided by -3 is -6. And positive 12 divided by -3 is -4. So this is our final answer.